Yo, what up traders? Welcome to a new weekly review video where I'll be breaking down price action and I will show you my trades, which were 2 losses unfortunately. So this is my first red week since I think April, and I will show you the screenshots in the Discord as always so you can check for yourself. So I will be breaking down what went wrong, was it a valid loss, and what could have done to improve myself and not make the same mistake next time, and you guys can learn from my mistakes as well. So let's just dive into the chart. All right, so we've got DXY daily chart over here. A very difficult week, guys. Let's look at what happened this week. Nothing at all. It was a very, very difficult week because we were in a consolidation profile. Now, let me just quickly show you what I was looking for at the start of the week, right? And let's see, this was from last week, and then we have this week here, right? So in the market outlook, I explained I wanted to go for these relative equal highs and a little bit higher as well. This is the 1 hour time frame. So if I go back to DXY and then go to the 1 hour, obviously I'm talking about these highs up here, right? So these highs is what I was looking for, and it actually took out those highs, but it failed to push through higher, and unfortunately that's where my first loss came in. And I will outline that in a bit. It was on Euro USD. But if we break down the entire week, we start from Monday. And on Monday, we actually slowly went higher, right? We are just filling up this fair value gap here. And what I wanted to do is actually look for a run on sell side liquidity before I wanted to trade higher. Now we had CPI on Wednesday, right? This is important to know because CPI is a high impact news release. Typically the market tends to consolidate prior, and we had that happening the day prior as well. So I was not really looking for anything here. Then we had this drop, and this is when CPI hit, right, on Wednesday. And then we had this push up. Now, let me just go to Euro USD. Right? Because it's important to note that I always want to see SMT to confirm a strong high or a strong low before I start trading. You guys should do the same, because if you have a strong high and a strong low, you will know what the dealing range is, and then you can start looking for those order pairing highs and lows in between the range, right? So this is Monday, Tuesday, and then we had Wednesday. And this is important. I want to see a low risk sell print before I start shorting, right? So what I did is I went to the 4 hour, right? And important to note, order pairing from high, which we took out here, and I wanted to see this low get run, right? That is the order pairing high to low play, which I was looking for. Now there was nothing here, so I need to wait for a low risk sell to print, which was this one, and a lower sell for me will be confirmed if there's a CSD OB formed on the 4 hour minimum, right? So we had this 4 hour OB here, right? And that's where I shorted. Let's show the screenshot here as well, right? So you guys can see. I was looking for this 4 hour play, right? SMT on the highs, because GBP USD ran all these highs up here. And then we had the CSD OB. So I was like, okay, let's look to short here, right? And if you look at it, it actually went decently into profits. However, it failed to go below these lows. And this is where I wanted to go break even. You can see that here on the screenshot as well, right? Break even when we're taking out this low. Now, if I go back, obviously we were very close to the low, but we never took out the low, so I could not go break even. And then the next day, Thursday and Friday, we just kept running higher. And unfortunately, that was my loss. And you can see when I will put the screenshot somewhere up here. And you can see the previous executions as well from all the weekly reviews I've done lately, right? So no single trade screenshots like a lot of educators do, but this goes back weeks and weeks. And last week, obviously, we did not have a trade because there was nothing to trade with NFP week. So now I want to touch on what could I have improved on this trade so I can actually learn from it and not make the same mistake next time. So we have to start off with DXY, daily time frame. The moment I was looking for, let's go to the daily. The moment I was looking for the longs, right? First of all, I needed the proper candle closure. And now I'll try to identify, was this a valid loss or should I have just waited a little bit longer? And guys, losses are part of the game. And it depends on where your stop loss is, right? I use like a 20 to 30 pip stop loss on EU most of the time, same with GU. But let's say you're a scalper and you want to have like a 4 or 5 pip stop loss. Spread is extremely important when you're trading like a scalper. And if you don't know which firm is the best for scalping or which firm is the best for swing trading, you can actually go to propfirmmatch.com. And propfirmmatch.com got some really good comparison tools, right? For example, I'm here on the best prop firm spreads. You can actually, I trade Euro USD, right? So for all these firms here, I can check what kind of spreads are they offering. So if you're a scalper, let's say, and you don't really use 20, 30 pip stop losses, but you use like 2, 3 pip stop losses, you can see the firms that got like wide stop losses. Like for example, E8 Markets got a 4.2 spread on EU. That's very, very bad. So you can compare all this on propfirmmatch.com, and make sure to use the link down in the description if you want to support my channel. And thank you propfirmmatch for sponsoring the video. What we had over here, let me remove this. This is the daily candle closure we had on Tuesday, or Wednesday rather, after CPI release, right? So this, we ran the sell side, and then we had a strong bullish closure above previous daily high and also above the body of this down close candle, which ran the high here, or ran the low here rather. Now, I was expecting an expansion candle to go back into this fair value gap, and then we can still trade lower, but that was the initial draw on liquidity. For me, this was a nice confirmation. Now, what could I have done differently? Let me remove the replay button here. If I go to the weekly, I know the weekly candle did not take out this low here. I could have waited for that low to get run before I looked for longs. Also, the weekly candle closure was not back inside of the previous candle. Could have also stayed out of it, and then I have to go to the bonds, which was actually pushing lower still. However, it's going sideways right now, so there's no strong conviction for the bonds to go in either direction. I still think this is more likely to go lower. Looks to me like it's on sell side of the curve. Sorry if you didn't see him, my camera was in the way, right? This is going sideways. Looks like we're drawing lower, which means DXY should trade higher. And all in all, with the bonds consolidating, we had the same for DXY. So it was a very difficult week in that regard. So we had the Thursday closure. I could have choose to close my trade, right? Slightly in break even or slightly in a loss. That could have happened, but I don't like to micromanage my trade. Especially if we had that SMT here, right? We had the SMT on these highs. So I was expecting a strong order block to form, and then we should see a push lower. Let's go to the other loss, because this was loss number 1. And the market makers got me real good this week, so we have another one. Let's go to USD CAD. Right? The moment I was looking for longs is when we had this candle closure here. Like this, right? So what I was looking for here, because we already expanded massively previous week and the start of the week and CPI, we ran all the sell side here and we had a very nice closure back inside of the range. And let me tell you right now, this trade, I think is a valid loss. This trade I would have taken 100 times out of 100 times. But we had this nice closure, so at least I wanted to see it go into the FEG, and once it goes into this FEG, I would already be break even. Let me go to the 4H, right? So this is what I was dealing with. We ran the range low here. Then we formed a CSD OB on the 4-hour time frame. And I was working with this range, right? So the low attached to the high. I want to order pair this range. That was the thing I wanted to do. Then we go to the 1 hour. Let me put out New York midnight opening price. Right, so let me just scroll a little bit ahead, right? This is the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so right now here we can't really do anything. We want to see price go back into discount, right? Run some sort of sell side liquidity, and then we can choose to either order pair the low to high, or we can wait for a confirmation entry. And I was waiting for a confirmation entry because the daily time frame was very the last few weeks was very bearish, so I don't want it to get in too early, right? So we had this range here. London session starts off. We drop, not in discount yet. Now we're dropping into discount. Oh, I'm going way too fast. Can I go back 1 bar? Yeah, let me go back 1 bar. Okay, so we have the low run here, right? This is what we want to see. When price comes back into discount, we want some sort of short-term low around discount, around that equilibrium line. And then if there's a strong reaction away from discount, and most importantly, if we violate a bearish array, which was this fair value gap, right? Look at how this candle closed, right? Above the 1 hour effigy. We closed above the down close candle as well. So this looked like a very solid setup. So what I basically sent in, let me just go to the Discord. I was looking for when price inverses this effigy here, I want to see us go and order pair low to high, right? Just like I just explained. Now, obviously, the market makers were not too handsome this week, right? So let's see what happened. Then price came back into the effigy and it just started to trickle down through it. And I was like, okay, this is kind of unfortunate. Maybe it will stay intact. The low barely did not get taken out. I was still in at this point. I was like, okay, maybe relative equal lows. You know, Canadian dollar was pretty strong at that moment. And then I got stopped out, right? So very unfortunate. And in the end, look at Friday, right? It just pummeled down. And eventually we went for that low I marked up here. We'll see what happens next week, obviously. I'm not too sure yet. I will definitely let Monday play out first. I don't know what you guys want to do. Let me know in the comments below what you think next weekly candle will do. Are we going to get a bullish candle or a bearish candle? And then I'm specifically talking about DXY, right? What do you think? Are we going to run this low before we're going to go higher? Or are we just going to go higher straight up from here? Or are we just going to topple down and go for these lows down here? Let me know in the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Simulation session Sunday is coming back. I will trade my model and show you how good and effective it is. And if you like this video, as always, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next video.